So I had a thought earlier today concerning what I would call my philosophy of fantasy. And you can probably sum it up as scarcity. This is a picture that I found a long time ago, and I think it's from a Castlevania game. It's like an illustration of one of the characters in the game, but I didn't know that at the time. To me, this has always been the captain of the Crimson Gale. What is the Crimson Gale? The Crimson Gale is a privateer ship that operates in the waters off of Windhaven. Now, Windhaven is a one of the only ports on the coast that has calm seas and calm wind. And they charge, exorbitant fees to use their safe harbor, literally a safe harbor. And if you decide to try and skimp on that, then you suffer at the mercy of the Crimson Gale, who is in the employ of Windhaven to make sure that ships continue to pay their exorbitant fees. Now, the reason why the Crimson Gale is so good at what it does is that they have bound air and water elementals to the ship. And so it always has calm water and a favorable wind. No matter which direction it's going or what, if they're in the middle of a storm or not, they are always able to outspeed and outmaneuver other ships. This to me is cool. You have a ship and it's got this magic secret to it because it's not widely known that the Crimson Gale has those elementals bound to it. And that's awesome to me. I like it. It's a cool idea. What would ruin it for me is if, for example, the entire Navy had ships. Like the standard practice for building ships is to bind water and air elementals to them so that they're all fast. Why is this a bad thing? You would think that if people knew how to do this and how what a benefit it yields to the ship, that you would want a bunch of them. They would do that because it would pay dividends in the end to have those kinds of ships, especially even if it was just the military, the navy doing it, because then they would be the undisputed masters of the sea. Well, the problem with it is it takes something fantastic, something magical, something special, and it makes it mundane. It turns it into the ubiquitous detail of, this is just the way it is now. I prefer, this is the one prototype, this is special, this is unique. And it doesn't have to be exactly unique so that the Crimson Gale is literally the only ship like that. But, just a handful of them. I like in certain animes how there's always something special about, the flagship or the main thing. So having a fleet of normal ships, but then that one big ship is the prototype that they're testing, and it's the one that's got the super awesome weapon on it. That's cool. Now, the reason why I mention all this stuff is because I have problems with Eberron. This is Eberron, and Eberron has all kinds of flying ships. There's tons of them. And they've got like air elementals or fire elementals or whatever they are, elementals bound to them, so they fly. But it's not just a couple of them. They darken the sky. And also the trains. I don't have a problem that it is a train or that it runs, I don't know how they get the trains to run. I think it's magical energy or bound lightning elementals or something. But the fact that there's a bunch of trains that run throughout all the cities, and it literally in the game, you can stand in line and buy a ticket to ride the train. How is that fantasy? How is that cool in D&D to stand in line and buy a train ticket? It's such a chore. And yet they've taken the fantastic of this awesome magic train and made it into something mundane and boring, and it just kills my mood. I actually don't have a problem with the Warforged. The Warforged are pretty cool. They get by totally on badassness, and this guy is no exception in the badass category. So, that is sort of my motivation in fantasy. Um, it hits sometimes when you go to sit down and make a game and you find out that the players want to play. One guy wants to be half vampire because that's what's cool to him. Another guy wants to be a troll or a minotaur or a giant or an ogre. And another guy wants to play. Oh, what's another good thing that people always love to play? Like a drow. He has to be a good drow. He has to be his Drizzt clone. And you have this vision, or at least, like for me, Trocare, the fantastic is unique and special in a way. And so suddenly to have a half vampire and a drow and a troll waltzing through the town, that's just, it kind of scares you as a DM. It's like, oh my gosh, here's my awesome world, and you guys are going to just screw it up by mere fact of your existence. It used to be a real big sticking point for me there, but I've actually pulled back from that a bit because I realize the PCs are the special people. Oh, and I went way out on a limb there. Actually, when I first made Trocare, the thing that scared me was that a lot of people would want to play elves or dwarves. Because in Trocare, the elves all live in uh, this one forest, and the dwarves all live over on that mountain. And for a normal human living in the city by Trocare, to see an elf or a dwarf would be a once in a lifetime thing. So to have a party filled with elves and dwarves would scare me. That's the kind of thing I've backed away from. The PCs are special. By definition, they get to be all the coolness. So, PCs get to be the maglev train and the awesome flying airship. That is their right as PCs. They are the one in a million people that are adventurers and that are heroes. And I guess the impetus for me making this video, the thing I wanted to get out was I've accepted on the PC side that they get to be special, they get to be awesome, and they get to be unique. So if they all want to play, my brother was really good at this. Literally, the troll, the vampire, and the drow were from his group. He started up a campaign, and that's what he told me. He was on the phone. He's like, oh yeah, one of them's playing a troll, one of them is a half vampire, or he was half dragon or something like that, and another one was a drow with full-on drow spell-like abilities. And that's cool. I have come to accept that now. You just have to explain them away. So I'm going to end this video early. Cool. Because there's only 2 pictures, so I can't go for the full 10 minutes. Bye-bye.